Welcome to the F-Bound Podcast. I'm your host, Shannon Schroeder, Executive Function Coach. I help neurodivergent women learn tips and strategies to improve the life skills that will help them be successful. Identifying and challenging negative thought patterns of rejection sensitivity. Do you often find yourself hurt or upset by rejection, even in situations where it may not be intentional or personal? This is known as rejection sensitivity, and it can be a difficult and distressing experience. Negative thought patterns related to rejection sensitivity can exacerbate these feelings, leading to a cycle of negative emotions and self-doubt. Identifying and challenging negative thought patterns is an important step in managing rejection sensitivity. By recognizing and reframing these thoughts, you can begin to break the cycle and develop a more positive and resilient mindset. Understanding rejection sensitivity. Rejection sensitivity occurs when someone is extremely sensitive to perceived or actual rejection from others. People with higher levels of rejection sensitivity may interpret neutral or ambiguous social cues as signs of rejection, leading to negative thoughts and emotions. Rejection sensitivity can manifest in various ways, such as feeling anxious or defensive in social situations, avoiding social interactions altogether, or becoming overly invested in relationships to avoid rejection. It can also lead to increased negative thought patterns, such as assuming the worst in social situations or believing that rejection is inevitable. Research has shown that rejection sensitivity can be influenced by various factors, including past experiences of rejection, attachment styles, and cultural norms. It can also be exacerbated by mental health conditions such as anxiety and depression. Negative thought patterns. Identifying and challenging negative thought patterns related to rejection sensitivity is an important step in managing the emotional distress that comes with it. Negative thoughts can be overwhelming and can lead to feelings of anxiety and depression. However, recognizing and challenging negative thoughts can help you develop a more positive outlook on life. Characteristics of negative thoughts. Negative thoughts related to rejection sensitivity often have some common characteristics. They tend to be automatic, meaning that they pop into your head without much effort. They are also often irrational, meaning that they are not based on reality. Negative thoughts can be self-defeating and can lead to feelings of hopelessness and helplessness. Common thought distortions. Negative thoughts related to rejection sensitivity can take many forms, but they often involve some common thought distortions. These distortions can make it difficult to see the situation clearly and can lead to feelings of anxiety and depression. Some common thought distortions include all or nothing thinking. This is when you see things in black and white with no shades of gray in between. For example, you might think that if someone doesn't like you, then nobody likes you. Catastrophizing. This is when you imagine the worst case scenario. For example, you might think that if someone rejects you, then you will never find love. Mind reading. This is when you assume that you know what someone else is thinking or feeling. For example, you might assume that someone doesn't like you because they didn't smile at you. Personalization. This is when you take feelings personally that are not meant to be personal. For example, you might think that someone didn't invite you to a party because they don't like you, when in reality they just forgot to invite you. By recognizing these common thought distortions, you can start to challenge them and develop a more positive outlook on life. Identifying personal triggers. As you work toward challenging negative thought patterns related to rejection sensitivity, it's important to identify your personal triggers. These are situations or events that tend to trigger negative thoughts and emotions related to rejection. By identifying your triggers, you can learn to recognize them when they occur and take steps to challenge your negative thoughts and reactions. Self-reflection techniques. One way to identify your personal triggers is through self-reflection. Take some time to reflect on past experiences where you have felt rejected or experienced feelings of rejection sensitivity. Consider the following questions. What were the circumstances surrounding the rejection? How did you react to the rejection? What thoughts and emotions did you experience? What negative beliefs or assumptions did you have about yourself or the situation? By reflecting on these questions, you can recognize your personal triggers and develop strategies to challenge them. Recognizing trigger situations. Another way to identify your personal triggers is to pay attention to situations where you tend to experience rejection sensitivity. These may include social situations where you feel left out or excluded, situations where you receive criticism or feedback, situations where you are uncertain about your status or position, situations where you perceive a threat to your relationships or connections. By recognizing these trigger situations, you can learn to anticipate and prepare for them. You can also develop strategies to challenge your negative thoughts and emotions when they arise. Cognitive behavioral approaches. Cognitive restructuring. Cognitive restructuring is a common technique used in a cognitive behavioral therapy to help you identify and challenge negative thought patterns related to rejection sensitivity. The goal of cognitive restructuring is to help you replace negative, self-defeating thoughts with more positive, adaptive ones. One way to restructure your thoughts is to identify and challenge negative self-talk. Negative self-talk can be identified by paying attention to your internal dialogue in the language you use when talking to yourself. For example, if you find yourself thinking, "I'm never going to be good enough for anyone," you can challenge this thought by asking yourself, "Is this thought really true? What evidence do I have to support this belief?" Behavioral experiments. Behavioral experiments are another technique used in CBT to help people challenge negative thought patterns related to rejection sensitivity. Behavioral experiments involve testing out your negative beliefs in real-life situations to see if they are accurate or not. For example, if you have a negative belief that no one wants to spend time with me, you can conduct a behavioral experiment by inviting someone to hang out with you. By testing out your belief in a real-life situation, you can gather evidence to support or challenge your negative belief. Cognitive behavioral approaches, such as cognitive restructuring and behavioral experiments, can be effective in identifying and challenging negative thought patterns related to rejection sensitivity. However, they typically happen with the help of a therapist. Trying to go it alone will most likely not reap the same benefits. Mindfulness and acceptance strategies. Mindfulness-based practices. One of the most effective ways to challenge negative thought patterns related to rejection sensitivity is through mindfulness-based practices. Mindfulness involves paying attention to the present moment without judgment. By focusing on the present moment, you can become more aware of your thoughts, emotions, and physical sensations. Mindfulness meditation is a popular mindfulness-based practice that involves sitting quietly and focusing on your breath. This practice can help you become more aware of your thoughts and emotions and can help you learn to observe them without judgment. Engaging in mindfulness will help you become more aware of these negative thoughts when they pop up. When you recognize them immediately, you can address them in the moment. Other mindfulness-based practices include mindful breathing, body scan meditation, and mindful movement practices such as yoga or Tai Chi. These practices can help you become more aware of your body and your physical sensations, which can help you become more grounded and present in the moment. Acceptance and commitment therapy. Another effective approach for challenging negative thought patterns related to rejection sensitivity is acceptance and commitment therapy, ACT. ACT is a type of therapy that focuses on accepting your thoughts and emotions rather than trying to change them. ACT involves learning to identify your values and committing to taking actions that align with those values, even in the face of difficult thoughts and emotions. This approach can help you become more resilient in the face of rejection and can help you learn to accept difficult emotions without getting caught up in negative thought patterns. Building emotional resilience. Improving self-esteem. One of the key components of building emotional resilience is improving your self-esteem. When you have high self-esteem, you are better equipped to handle rejection and negative feedback. Here are some ways to enhance your self-esteem. Practice self-care. Take care of your physical and emotional needs. This includes getting enough sleep, eating a healthy diet, and engaging in activities that make you feel good. If your body is run down or not feeling well, it's harder to feel emotionally well. Challenge negative self-talk. Identify negative thoughts and replace them with positive ones. For example, instead of thinking, "I'm not good enough," replace it with, "I am capable and worthy." Using daily affirmations can help with this. Celebrate your achievements. Focus on your strengths and accomplishments. Take time to acknowledge your successes, no matter how small they may be. The more you can recognize and own your successes, the easier it will be to fight the negative thoughts. Developing coping skills. Another important aspect of building emotional resilience is developing coping skills. Coping skills help you manage stress and difficult emotions. Here are some coping skills you can develop. Mindfulness. Practice being present in the moment and observing your thoughts and feelings without judgment. Problem solving. Identify the problem, brainstorm possible solutions, and choose the best course of action. Seeking support. Reach out to friends, family, or a therapist for emotional support. Social skills and communication training. Social skills and communication training can be an effective way to challenge negative thought patterns related to rejection sensitivity. By improving your social skills, you can feel more confident in your interactions with others and reduce the likelihood of misinterpreting social cues. One way to improve your social skills is to practice active listening. This involves paying close attention to what the other person is saying and responding in a way that shows you understand and care about their perspective. And if you're really listening, you're less likely to try to read their minds and make assumptions about what they're thinking. You can also practice assertiveness, which involves expressing your own needs and boundaries in a clear and respectful way. Setting boundaries is hard, especially with people you really care about, but it can save you a ton of grief and stress. Communication training can help you learn how to communicate more effectively in different situations. This may involve learning how to use nonverbal cues such as eye contact and body language, or practicing different communication styles such as active listening or empathetic responding. Rejection sensitivity can really mess with your sense of self. To combat it, you need to dig around and get to the roots, the negative thoughts, and get rid of those. Arming yourself with a variety of tools and strategies will help you to handle any type of situation you find yourself in. So take your time and try different things. Remember that you spent your whole life building up these negative thoughts. Tearing them down isn't going to happen overnight. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the F-Bomb podcast. Thank you for listening. Remember to subscribe below and check out my show notes to learn more about my Facebook group, courses, and membership.